Hi dear friends, and welcome back to another studio vlog. On this morning I'm so excited of preparing this lovely autumnal cozy order. I really enjoy beginning the day with a task like this because it is practical and manageable. There is a clear sequence to follow, choosing the pieces, checking everything carefully, placing them into their packaging, and preparing the parcel for its journey. When I feel slightly overwhelmed, which is pretty often, by all the things I could be doing, starting with something small and specific helps me settle into the day. It gives my hands something to do before my imagination has fully woken up. Packing an order is also a meaningful part of running a small creative business. Each item represents many different stages of work. There was the first idea, the drawing process, the color choices, the test print, the production, the photography, and finally the moment someone discovered it and decided to bring it into their home. This month, I decided to create a sticker sheet inspired by art supplies, some of the little objects that make a creative space feel inviting. I'll take you a little bit throughout the process. Lately, I've been having requests of sharing this kind of video, and I wanted to film my drawing process for so long, but honestly I find it so hard for me to film a whole drawing process, since normally I'm sitting on my sofa, which for me is the most comfy area where I can sit for a while and draw without hurting my back. So here I am now, sitting on my couch and sharing with you this cozy drawing process. And while I work, I also wanted to talk about something I've been thinking about lately, which is how we build a creative life throughout very small and ordinary moments. When we imagine creativity, we often picture the exciting parts. And by the excited parts, I mean the moment a beautiful idea arrives, or the satisfaction of completing a painting, or the joy of holding a finished product. But sometimes most of creative days doesn't begin with a grand idea. They might begin with an ordinary moment like starting the day, preparing your tea, using your favorite teacup, or just opening a sketchbook without knowing that will appear on the page. Actually, yesterday my son was drawing, and to give you a context, he asked me if I ever sit down without knowing what to draw. And I answered him that happens all the time. He felt surprised with my honest answer. He's always watching me drawing, designing, creating, and he thought that I always have everything figured out. But this is not the case at the moment. I think there is something comforting about remembering this. We don't always need to feel completely inspired before we begin. Sometimes the simple act of beginning is what allows inspiration to find us. Taking a short walk gives the mind a little room to breathe. It may appear that nothing creative is happening during those moments, but ideas often continue developing quietly in the background. When I begin an illustration, I don't always see the finished version clearly in my mind. Sometimes I only have a loose idea of the shape or the feeling I want to have. There is always a stage when the drawing feels uncertain or incomplete. It may not look the way I imagine, and I might wonder whether I have chosen the wrong colors. That uncomfortable middle stage is not necessarily a sign that the idea is failing. Very often, it's simply part of making something. One of my favorite things I enjoy is adding color and textures. And for this drawing, I wanted a warm, nostalgic palette, which includes soft yellows, gentle blues, earthy reds, muted greens, and touches of purple. I'm also allowing the texture of the brushes to remain visible. Digital illustration gives us the ability to make everything extremely clean and precise. That can be useful, but I don't necessarily want my drawings to look perfect. Those imperfections embrace the illustration and feels warmer and more personal. And honestly, it took me some time to appreciate that quality in my own work. There is often a temptation to compare a drawing with work that is smoother, more detailed, or more technically impressive. When we do that, it's easy to start removing the very qualities that make our work feel like ours. Developing a style isn't always about adding something new. Sometimes it's about noticing what comes naturally to us and deciding not to erase it. Perhaps you draw lines in a particular way, or perhaps you are repeatedly attached to the same colors, subjects, or moods. Those tendencies might initially seem too ordinary to be important, but over the time, they become the visual language of your work. And with the time, I learned that styles develop through repetition. It grows through making many things, following our curiosity, and paying attention to the choices we continue to make. Sometimes we have to look back at the work from 6 months or a year ago before we realize how much has changed. There are days when I create a lot, and days when I feel like I have very little to show for all the hours I worked. I think that it's something that many creative people understand. Not all progress becomes something you can immediately see. Sometimes part of my work is experimenting, and sometimes it's solving a problem, and sometimes it's simply giving an idea enough time to become what you imagine. So when you're buying something handmade, you are never really buying only the finished object. There are hours of decisions, experimenting, and little pieces of someone's creative life hidden inside that product. And I think that's one of the things I love most about creating, seeing a little idea slowly come to life and knowing that one day it will find a home with someone who loves it too. That makes all the work behind it feel worth it. So I started by thinking about all those little things you might find scattered around as in an artist's desk. And once I had the theme, I started thinking about what I actually wanted to draw. I usually choose things that I personally love or use when I'm creating, and then a little by little, the collection started to come together. I wanted every sticker to be lovely on its own, but also to feel like it belonged with the other. So I play around with the different objects, colors, and little details until everything started to feel right together. It's funny because a sticker sheet is such a small thing, but there's actually a lot of thought that goes into filling that little space. At this point, all the little illustrations are finally starting to come together. There are still things I want to change and little details I want to add, but I can finally see what the finished sheet is going to look like. And this is usually the part where I get excited again. When I've been working on something for a while, I can get so focused on tiny details that I forget to look at the whole thing. That's why lately I try not to put too much pressure on myself to have everything figured out from the beginning. I just work in one little thing, then another, and slowly it starts becoming what I had in my mind. And I think that creativity is about a bit like that too. Most of the time, it doesn't feel like you are making huge progress. You're just drawing, trying things, learning and using new techniques, and coming back again the next day. Sometimes I don't realize how much I've done until I stop for a moment and look at the bigger picture. And now that I'm looking the process coming together, I'm realizing that it's one of my favorite illustrations that I have created. I would like to make a parenthesis since I have a little announcement to make. My online shop is now open on my website. You can now shop my stickers directly from there, so you can have another little place to find my work beside Etsy. That means so much to see this new corner of my website finally come to life, and I can't wait to pack your orders from there. I'll leave the link in the description if you would like to have a little look. Printing is always an exciting moment because this is the first time I can see how the colors look away from the illustrated iPad screen. Colors can behave differently on paper. Some become softer, some appear darker, and sometimes a color that looks perfect on the screen needs to be adjusted. I try to treat the first print as part of the process rather than expecting to be flawless. This is not wasted material or proof that I made a mistake. It gives me information I couldn't have received any other way. This mindset has helped me in other parts of my creative work as well. For example, when I'm drawing on my sketchbook. Not everything we make has to be a final piece. We are allowed to create test experiments and finish sketches and versions that teach us what do we do next. When every attempt has to become something polished and shareable on social media, creativity can begin to feel very heavy. And now the sticker sheet is almost ready, and made me think about the transformation from digital to physical is one of the reasons I enjoy making stationery so much. I'm very happy with how the illustration look together. I especially like the warm colors and the textures finish. Thank you so much for spending this quiet studio day with me.